Hey friends, this is Wendy with LUVIN STAMPIN, and today I am sharing some luxury items with you that I absolutely love that are not necessary for crafting, but I have to say if you were saving up for something luxury and fantastic to have in your craft room, these are the items I would recommend. So I do want to just say up front that I am not an affiliate with Anna Griffin or anything like that, but I purchased her machine or the machine, and I thought I would open it here on screen with you for the first time, my first time getting my hands on it. And really, the Anna Griffin isn't particularly a luxury item as much as an electronic die cutting machine is. So let's jump into this and talk about the first item, which is an electronic die cutting machine. So as you know, there's bazillions of different options on the market. When I'm talking about electronic die cutting, I'm not referring to things like a Silhouette or a Cricut. Those all hook to computers, and it's not really like you're not running your dies through a machine with those. So that is a whole different topic to me. So when I am referring to die cutting machines, this is what I'm talking about. An electronic die cutting machine that you run metal dies through. And you can also emboss with these machines. So real quick, I'm going to be showing you here on my screen my current electronic die cutting machine, which is the Tim Holtz Vagabond. Before I get to that, I'm showing you all the pieces and parts that came with this Anna Griffin Empress machine. Now this machine has been on my list to get for a long time. I actually saved up for it because I really, really wanted it. I watched lots of videos about it first. I watched Jennifer McGuire video. I watched the HSN like little thing. And I just really thought it would be something I would love. And I think it's really pretty. So that's always a added bonus. So here's everything that comes in it. You get the magnetic plate, the embossing pad, a metal shim, your clear die cut plates. There's some dies in a die and an embossing folder. And then, sorry, I hope I don't make you seasick there. This is my old machine. So this is the Tim Holtz Vagabond, and I'm going to run a die through it just so you can see how it works. So on the top of this machine, one is a button and the other one is a directional button. So you switch the button whichever direction you want it to run, and then you push and hold the button down to run the die through. This is not a big deal at all. I've had this machine forever. In fact, I've had 3 of these machines. You cannot get these machines anymore. So this takes me to the justification, which I really don't need one, but I'm going to tell it to you, for purchasing the Anna Griffin. So this machine is going to break eventually. My other one did, and I had to actually search for one through somebody else to get a new one. And because they don't sell them anymore. This is a retired product. They don't make them anymore, and you can't get them. It is bulky. I've never been a big fan of how it opens on both sides and has kind of like the wings that go out. Look at how much more space I gain with when I get this all set up. So I'm going to clean my area off here because I realize this is kind of dirty. So I grab my thieves spray and I'm going to clean this area off, and then I'll plug this in and I'll run a die through the Anna Griffin so you can see how that works. But the reality is that my Vagabond would eventually break, and I know that that's going to happen because it's happened before, and there's no way to replace them. So I thought, you know what, why not save up and treat myself to this machine that is really beautiful, and something that I think is going to save me a little space on my countertop and function beautifully. So as you can see already, it's taking up less space and it doesn't have like the big wings that fold out. I will do probably a better review on this product after I've used it some. I didn't want to necessarily review it with you today because I haven't used it long enough to feel confident in reviewing it. I don't like reviewing something if I haven't had the time to really make sure I know all the info about it. So yeah, luxury item number 1 is an electronic die cutting machine. if you like to mass produce, these are, to me, a must-have. If you have any sort of dexterity issues with your hands, wrists, shoulders, or neck, again, these could be a huge lifesaver. I know lots of card makers who run businesses where they cut kits, and they all have eventually gone to an electronic machine of some kind, because the truth is your body can just only take so much repetitive action for so long before it is abused and it starts breaking down and you start having problems. So here I'm just unpacking all of these parts and pieces for this machine, and then we're going to run the die through it that actually came with the machine. So that was kind of nice. It came with an embossing folder and it came with a die. So we're going to run both of those, or we're just going to run the die through. So one thing I wanted to note, there's a handful of things I want you to note. The Anna Griffin machine does not have standard plates. What do I mean by that? All of the other companies, not all of them, a lot of them, like my Vagabond machine, I could use Sizzix, I could use Stampin' Up. As you can see here, the plates are bigger for the Anna Griffin. And the other thing to note for the Anna Griffin is that you can actually run your dies through in both directions. Like you can turn it's wide enough, the opening is wide enough that clear plate will fit through vertically or horizontally. It comes with a little information packet to tell you kind of what's going on and how to use things. And the other thing that I love about this machine is you push the little button, you stick your die in. You're going to see me do that here in a minute. And you just push this little button and it runs through. You don't have to hold it down. With the Tim Holtz Vagabond machine, you have to hold the button down. Now I know that's like, okay, what's the big deal, Wendy? It's really not. It's not that big of a deal. But it is just one little added luxury thing. The other thing that's interesting about this machine is it uses a magnetic plate to use for your cutting. So you put that so essentially I don't have to worry as much anymore about taping dies to cardstock. Now you're still going to have to do that some if you're running a whole bunch of different pieces of cardstock through, you're going to have to tape it down. But if you're bunch of different pieces of cardstock with different dies, you're still going to have to tape the cardstock onto it just so it doesn't move. But the die stayed in place beautifully, and I'm just going to use a clear plate, the magnetic plate with the die on top facing up, the cardstock on top with the plate on top, and I'm going to run it through. So again, we're talking luxury items, right? So this is definitely a luxury item, not a necessity. The old crank machines work just fine. There's nothing wrong with those. But I will say that this machine, look at this, my clapping hands. This machine is incredible. And from what I've seen on other people's videos is the plates don't tend to warp like they do with other machines. The plates, the magnetic, all of that. And as I said, Jennifer McGuire did a video where she used hers for a whole year before she reviewed it. And I was incredibly impressed with how this cut an intricate die out so cleanly. Because usually you have to poke and get all the pieces out. And I didn't have to do that with this. Now, this die isn't super duper intricate, but enough that I was impressed. Okay, let's move on to our second luxury item, the precision glue press. Is this necessary for your crafting? No. But I thought I would show you how it sits in this holder. The lid comes off. You can put the lid right on to the base there, and it sits like this. Now, initially getting this precision glue press, it never clogged. I am starting to have a few issues with it clogging on occasion, but it's usually when I don't use it for very long or I haven't set it in the holder correctly. Tombow glue is still a wonderful option, so I'm just saying the precision glue press is a luxury item, not something you have to have. My next luxury item is the Misty. So we all know the old clear blocks, and you could totally use your clear blocks for everything. In my opinion, at the price point for a Misty, they are expensive. So that does put them in a luxury item category because they're not a must-have to craft and stamp. However, in my case, at this point in my crafting, they're kind of a must-have for stamping. This little card I made here, it was so nice to just be able to line up my stamps, get them exactly where I wanted to. I had to go off camera there because I was putting my head over the top, and y'all, my grays are coming in hot. So you just close the lid, it picks your stamps up for you onto the lid, and you ink up your images and stamp it. What a luxury. For anybody who started out with just old wood blocks and old-fashioned stamp positioners, or even clear blocks and stamp positioners, having a tool that stamps everything in place multiple times has got to be one of the best kept or best invented things ever. I was going to say best kept secret, but it's really not a secret, is it? All right, my last luxury item is storage. So I am a big, huge fan of Stampin' storage. It's a luxury item because, again, the price point on it is pricey. But I will say that saving up for these storage items is well worth your money, and I would highly recommend it. There are links below my video for all the products you've seen me show here today. I am an affiliate with some, I am not with some, and if you want to purchase any of them, you can at those links. I hope you enjoyed this short video on my fun luxury products. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.